Do you see the look on my face? I'm angry, and that's because I went to go see the Emoji movie on Friday. And I'm just gonna cut straight to the chase. This movie is fucking horrible. But that's not a surprise, because everyone on the internet has been having a field day trashing this piece of shit. Critics hate it, audiences hate it, nobody likes the Emoji movie. It's bad. What more do you want me to say? It's just fucking bad. It's not even so bad it's good bad. It's just bad. And I'm just gonna delve into all of it, or at least as much as I can remember. So, yeah. I'm gonna tell you the two things that I did like about this movie, and I'm gonna keep it relatively brief. That is, the animation looked nice, and the puppy shirt that played before the movie. That's it. Now on to everything else. This is one of the most blatant, pandering movies I have ever seen. I'm not even kidding. There is product placement out the ass, and it's so blatant and obnoxious that it begins to feel less like a movie and more like a commercial. For example, oh hey, look, that's YouTube. You guys know what that is, right? Oh hey, look, that's Facebook. You guys know what that is, right? Oh hey, look, there's Instagram. You guys know what that is, right? Seriously, like, Meet the Spartans before it, and yes, I just went there. They don't even do anything interesting with these product placements, with these pop culture references. They're literally just there to make the audience say, hey, I know what that is. Hell, even the fucking Twitter bird makes an appearance near the end of the movie, and its only purpose is to make people say, hey, look, that's Twitter. It's just ridiculous. And of course there's other product placements like Spotify and Twitch and Just Dance and Crackle and Dropbox, and oh my god, it's just... I get product placement is an important thing in movies, and as long as it's used subtly, I don't mind, but when it's used so blatantly and obnoxiously, that's a problem. It honestly feels like they spent more on the product placements than the actual movie. And I haven't even gotten into the actual movie yet, so let's do that. Gene is an incredibly boring character. He is a blank slate. And it's very fitting that he's a meh emoji, because I didn't give a single solitary shit about him. They do not even develop his character. You don't really get to know anything about him, so ultimately you don't really give a shit if he succeeds. You just want the movie to be over. You know, his goal is to be a meh emoji, because he feels like if he can be a meh emoji, then the rest of his life would fall into place, and he wouldn't be so unhappy. He would be like everybody else. But the problem is he can express multiple emotions. Now, honestly, this wouldn't be a problem if they actually developed his character, but they don't. And really, if the movie's message is to be yourself, why would you have the main character wanting to conform so he can be like everybody else? I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me. I find that to be hypocritical and contradictory to the I find that to be very hypocritical and contradictory to the message this movie is trying to convey. But that would be assuming this script actually makes any sense, which it doesn't. Right? And it's just... I just didn't care about Gene. It's just boring. There's nothing to him. There's no development. There's no progression. He starts this movie one way and ends this movie the exact same way. He's a meh emoji that can express multiple emotions, and by the end, he's a meh emoji that can express multiple emotions. The only difference is that everyone in Textopolis now loves him and adores him. That's it. There's no development at all. And when you compare it to something like a Wreck-It Ralph, it's pretty much night and day. The reason why Ralph wants to be a good guy is because he's treated horribly by everyone around him. Everyone in Game Central Station thinks he's this evil, horrible villain, and he lives in the dump in a pile of bricks. So when he abandons his game and goes turbo in search of a medal from Hero's Duty, you understand why. Because of the situation he's been forced into. Ralph is a sympathetic character, so you want to see him succeed. You want to see him win. Because they actually took the time to develop his character, and he's in a very shitty situation. That's good storytelling. This movie does not have good storytelling. The filmmakers behind it didn't even care for good storytelling. Oh, let's just make a movie about emojis. Who gives a shit if it sucks? I mean, it's only for kids. I mean, they're completely stupid. So we're not even going to take the time to develop our characters because, hey, it's a movie about emojis, and, you know, kids and parents will see it because it's about emojis. And the point of the matter is that Gene is just a boring character with nothing to him, and ultimately you don't really care about him at all. High Five is a very one-note character. He's the standard comic relief, and not much more than that, so I'm not even going to bother wasting any more time on him. And Jailbreak is the stereotypical female character that doesn't want to be a princess, that wants to be more. Very similar to that of Jean, right? And by the way, she says throughout the movie, she's like, I don't want to be a princess. I'm not a princess. I want to be something different. I want to be whoever I want to be. Like, we haven't heard that before. And by the way, that whole I don't want to be a princess thing is totally ripped off from Moana. But spoiler alert, guess what? She is a princess! Oh boy, I bet you didn't see that one coming, right? She's a princess. And that's literally it. It's the whole I don't want to be a princess, but I'm actually a princess thing. And it really serves no purpose at all, other than to try and be some kind of a twist. But it's so predictable that you can see it coming from a mile away. When she says, I don't want to be a princess, I'm like, she's going to be a princess. And lo and behold, she is a princess. Right? And she's the codebreaker, she's the hacker, and she's trying to change Dean into a mat emoji. And I didn't really care about her either. There's nothing to her. And to be honest, I don't blame the actors for any of this. They did the best with the shitty script that they were given. And admittedly, because the script is so shitty, they pretty much have nothing to work with. But again, like, I just didn't care. I just didn't care at all. And the whole, I want to be whoever I want to be, that would be fine, even though it's a completely overused trope, if they actually did something with her character, if they actually made me care about her. And they didn't. Oh, and they try to develop this romance, and I'm using that very loosely because there is no romance. They try to develop this romance with her and Jean, and it goes absolutely nowhere. Actually, the whole reason it's even brought about is when High Five says, oh, you better tell her how you feel before it's too late. And then Jean confesses his love for her. And then Jailbreak rejects him because she wants to be whoever she wants to be and doesn't have time for a relationship. And the romance subplot is brought up in that scene, and it's dropped in that scene, and it's never mentioned again, which makes the whole romance subplot completely pointless. Seriously, what the hell was the point of bringing up a romantic subplot if you weren't even going to do anything interesting with it, if you weren't going to go somewhere with it? This movie just, it grinds my gears. It manages to make me angry, offended, and bored, all in one. Right? And there's also some other things in this movie that make no fucking sense. Like, about halfway through the movie, when High Five gets taken by the delete bots to the trash, which, by the way, is a complete ripoff of the imagination memory dump from Inside Out, Jean says, oh, we have to save him. Despite the fact that they're literally right at Dropbox, that's the whole cloud thing that will change Jean into a man emoji, they're literally right there. All they have to do is just walk through it. But he says, no, we have to save him. He's my friend. And by the way, Jean had only known High Five for like a few hours, and he suddenly decided that he's now the best of friends and he's worth saving. Which makes no sense because he hasn't known him for that long. He's only known him for like a few hours. But, oh, we have to save him. We can't just look out for number one. We have to look out for other people. I'm a nice person. I like looking out for people. But even I think this is illogical. I don't know, it doesn't make sense, and it just feels like it's there to elongate the movie's running time. And by the way, it's only 86 minutes, and when you watch it becomes incredibly evident why it's only 86 minutes, because it's just so rushed that it doesn't even take the time to develop the characters, the world, the story. Because, hey, it's only for kids, so who gives a shit, right? We don't even have to put in the effort to make it, you know, good, or to actually make sense. Oh, and they also try to do this whole social commentary. There's literally a joke in the movie where it's basically about, oh, people's lives are consumed by Facebook. Ha ha ha. Isn't that funny? people's lives are consumed by Facebook. And honestly, that's not exactly wrong, and I think it would have made for some good social commentary if they actually decided to go somewhere with it. But like everything else in this fucking movie, they don't. They don't at all. It's put in there as a throwaway joke, and it's never brought up again, which makes it completely pointless. Oh, and the jokes. The fucking jokes. Oh my fucking god. It is... This movie is not just unfunny, it's insultingly unfunny. The whole gag with Smiler, which is the movie's villain, and by the way, she's completely awful villain. I'm talking like most Marvel movie villain level bad. Yeah, the whole gag where Smiler constantly smiles to the point of being creepy. It's maybe amusing at first, and then it gets to be really old really quickly, and it just is annoying. I didn't like Smiler. I thought her to just be an obnoxious version of Joy from Inside Out. You know, the poop emoji's poop puns are completely cringeworthy. They're stupid and adolescent, and the candy corn joke that was featured in the trailers is stupid. It's stupid. Oh, and speaking of the poop emoji, it's played by Patrick Stewart. And honestly, the poop emoji is exactly what you would think it is. It is nothing but poop puns, and they're all terrible. And not to mention, he's barely even in the fucking movie. He only has about 5 or 6 lines at most, and they're all awful. They're all awful. Like the whole "we are number 2" is bad. It's stupid. And the whole, oh, when the devil says, she said white. Oh, because he's a poop emoji, so that must mean it's funny, because, oh, God. And then when she says, and then there's another joke like, are you soft, poop? Yeah, that's literally an actual line. Are you soft, poop? That's it. I mean, if you're going to have a distinguished actor like Patrick Stewart play the poop emoji, you would figure they would at least try to do something interesting with that character, try to do something subversive. Nope! They fall on the lowest common denominator, and it's nothing but poop puns, and that's all this character is. This movie, just, the more I talk about it, the angrier I become. But we have to soldier on. Okay, so, at the end of the movie, and I'm gonna spoil this, but you probably really don't even give a shit. Who's gonna see this fucking movie anyway? But at the end of the movie, because it follows the character named Alex, right? And this is honestly the most insulting thing in the movie. Just as he's about to delete his phone and completely wipe the whole world of Textopolis, he finally works up the courage to express his feelings to his crush, Addie McAllister. Oh, and by the way, in a trashed email, it's revealed he confesses his love for Addie through the Rihanna song Diamonds. I'm not even fucking joking. That's literally how he confesses his love for her. Through the Rihanna song Diamond. And guess what? It's only there to make people say, hey look, I know that song, that's by Rihanna. But he confesses his love for her through the emoji. Through an emoji. I don't even remember what emoji it is. Who gives a shit? It doesn't matter. And then Addie says, oh hey, you're pretty cool. I like guys that can express their feelings through emojis. I'm not kidding. That's an actual written line in a theatrically released movie. And by the way, if it sounds like the dialogue's been written in 15 minutes, that's because it most likely was. It's that cheesy. It's that cringeworthy. As somebody that was a teenager once, and as a writer, this is offensive to me. Most teenagers don't talk like that. Like, who the fuck says that? Like, what teenager says that? It honestly feels like some out-of-touch old man who's trying so desperately to understand what today's generation is into and is trying to tap into what teenagers would actually say that they completely miss the point entirely. Teenagers don't talk like that. What teenager says that? We were all teenagers once. I'm pretty sure they do not say that. Yeah, I like guys that can express their feelings through emojis. It's much better than actually expressing your feelings towards me face-to-face in person, right? Oh, and it completely contradicts the whole social commentary they were trying to make earlier about how people's lives are consumed by Facebook and how people's lives are consumed by their phones, and yet they completely fall in that same trope. Yeah, great way to subvert your own trope, your own social commentary message by completely conforming to it. Good job, movie. It's just, it's bad. It's just, it's insulting. It's absolutely insulting. And this movie, I'm not even going to try to justify it anymore. This movie is a fucking dumpster fire. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. It is a complete waste of time and money. I saw this movie for free. I did not contribute any money to this piece of shit. And even then I felt like I was ripped off. Because it is everything that we thought it was going to be when it was first announced. It is a shameless, soulless, cynical, pandering cash grab. This is not a movie. It's not. It's an 86-minute commercial that insults your intelligence, takes your money, kicks you in the balls, and then farts in your face for good measure. And by the way, it also rips off from so many other animated movies. Let me count the ways, right? ThatKidDouglas is basically Game Central Station from Wreck-It Ralph, and pretty much rips off the whole plot of Wreck-It Ralph. The whole world outside of ThatKidDouglas is basically long-term memory from Inside Out. The trash is the imagination memory dump from Inside Out. The whole we're inside a person, the world within a world kind of thing, that's ripped off from Osmosis Jones and Inside Out. The scene where Gene and Jailbreak are sailing through the river is basically I See the Light from Tangled. Jailbreak's whole I don't want to be a princess is pretty much ripped off from Moana. And the whole, I want to be different than what I'm fated to be is basically ripped off from Wreck-It Ralph. And there's a whole bunch of other movies that this movie rips off from. But those are just the ones that I saw, that I could at least remember. Look, I'll be honest, I hated the experience of watching this from start to finish. I knew that it wasn't going to be good. I had such low expectations for this, and even then I felt like I was let down. Because there was the potential to do something interesting with this. The Lego Movie did it. This is not the Lego Movie. It basically appeals to the lowest common denominator. And it's just pointless. It's lazy, it's pointless, and this is a movie that didn't need to be made, that shouldn't have existed. And I've honestly heard some people try to argue... This movie makes me so angry that I'm fucking up my words here, but I'm doing this in one take, I don't care. I've heard some people legitimately try to argue that, hey, I don't understand why people are so angry. I mean, it's only for kids, it's just a kids movie, so who cares? No. If you seriously think it's just for kids is a good excuse to make a bad movie, then you are horribly misguided. Kids should not be subjected to this piece of garbage. They should not have to be subjected to shit like this. Because kids have been proving to like sophisticated animated movies that respect their intelligence. Zootopia, Inside Out, Finding Dory, the Lego Movie, How to Train Your Dragon, for God's sake. Like, hell, even Kubo and the Two Strings, Monsters Inc., and there's so many others that I could name right now. Sure, they have stuff that appeal to kids, but they have themes that appeal to both kids and adults, and those movies that I just mentioned actually respect their intelligence. Kids are smart, they're not stupid, so you don't have to talk down to them. And I honestly felt like the filmmakers didn't even try to put in any effort to make it good, because they thought, hey, it's just for kids. They're stupid, they're retarded, they don't know what's good and what's bad, so, we have an excuse to make a bad movie, so we're not even going to try to put in the effort to make anything good because it's only for kids. And that, in of itself, is just insulting because they deserve so much better than this. So much better. Honestly, at the screening I saw this in, it was mostly dead silence for most of the running time. Sure, there was a few laughs and chuckles here and there, but it was silent. And when you can't even get kids to laugh at the dumb jokes, that is a problem. What does that tell you? Kids don't enjoy it. Adults don't enjoy it. Who the hell was this movie made for? Who the hell is getting any enjoyment out of this? Like, seriously. This is just some executive's wet dream of what they think this generation is into. And that's it. Look, I'm not even trying to justify it anymore. The Emoji Movie is a complete dumpster fire. It's a complete waste of time and money. Do not see it. Please, I beg of you, do not see the Emoji Movie. It's not worth it. I know it may seem tempting because of the shit posting from Jack's Films, but it's not worth seeing, ironically or unironically. And for the parents out there, please do not take your kids to see this movie. If you love your kids and respect their intelligence, don't take them to see this movie. If you are so desperate to take your kids to see a movie this weekend, take them to see Cars 3 or Despicable Me 3. Those are still playing. Or better yet, just stay home. Watch Wreck-It Ralph. Watch Inside Out. Watch the Lego Movie. For the love of God, anything else would be better than this heaping train wreck. Just fuck this movie. Fuck this movie. Fuck Sony Pictures. And just fuck the existence in which a movie like this could be made. The fact that Popeye by Jendy Tartakovsky was cancelled, the fact that Medusa by Lauren Faust was cancelled for shit like this is heartbreaking. Because, honestly, maybe those might not have had as much appeal as the Emoji Movie, but those would have been far better movies. And it honestly made me even question why Sony Pictures is even still making movies. I'm done with this. I'm done. The Emoji Movie sucks. It's cancerous. End of story. I'm done. This video's over. Have a nice day.